Hey fellow pipe smokers, today I'm going to be doing a review on a tobacco that I had mentioned in one of my other reviews. I mentioned it because it's one of my favorites. It is Sillem's Commodore Flake. It's from Germany. Here's the tin, you can see it there. Sillem's Commodore Flake, made in Germany. It is a blend of Latakia, Kentucky Burley, and Cavendish. The reason you probably saw my face like that is that Cavendish, I cringe when I hear it's part of a blend. And the reason is because a lot of these cheap aromatic tobaccos are primarily Cavendish. It's sticky, gooey if it's the cheap stuff. I'm not knocking any aromatic smokers because I enjoy an aromatic occasionally, but it's a quality aromatic. Samuel Gawith makes some really good aromatics. Cornell and Deal makes a few good aromatics that I'll smoke on occasion. But I'm talking about that drugstore. It's sticky. It just ugh. So when I initially saw that, I'll admit it kind of put me off a little bit initially. But I was reading tobaccoreviews.com and there wasn't very many reviews on it. But it was rated as a strong to very strong tobacco and nicotine content, which doesn't bother me. I tend to smoke higher nicotine content tobaccos before I go to bed at night. I can never go right to bed when I get home from work. I work the night shift. I get home or the late shift. I get home at usually midnight or 1 o'clock, and I can never just go right to bed. So I like to sit down, read, or watch TV with a stronger pipe. It tends to relax me and make me melt into my chair or whatever. But anyway, at any rate, today I'm going to be smoking this in my Bjarne Nielsen little mini church warden. It's a great smoking little pipe. You just got to be careful because with certain tobaccos, if you puff too fast, which I tend to do sometimes, this sucker will heat up on you. But it's a fantastic smoking little pipe. I love it. And I figured since this tobacco is in the strong to very strong range, it might be better smoked in a smaller bowl. I've gone through probably 2 tins of this stuff in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 months maybe. I do like it. It's very dark tobacco, obviously, because there's Latakia and Cavendish and the Kentucky Burley, which you can see. I'll show you in just a second. But it's definitely not a cheap tobacco, so that was the first thing I was very happy about when I initially tried this stuff. But here, let me show you what it looks like. It's dark, as I mentioned. I don't know how good that's focusing for you there, but I rubbed some out, and that's what it looks like rubbed out. And there's the flake that is not rubbed out yet. And you can see it's very dark, got a little bit of brown in there from the Burleys, but the rest is all pretty much Latakia and Cavendish. It's a little bit wet out of the tin. I had to let this one dry out for about half an hour or so before I lit it up, but it packs easily. It's a, as I mentioned, I like this stuff. But if you don't like Latakia, stay away from this stuff because it's got a lot of it. Takes light nicely. Tamp it down just a little bit here, sorry. There's definitely not a lot of Cavendish in here, and I don't know if you know, or I wasn't aware of it for the longest time, that Cavendish really isn't a strain of tobacco like a Virginia or Burley. It's the way that they prepare it, which they steam it. And it pretty much takes all the nicotine and flavor out of it, so they use it as They use a lot of cheap tobaccos to make Cavendish because it basically kind of ruins it, in my opinion. This blend seems to use it more, really in the proper way it was intended, not as a primary ingredient in cheap tobacco. This is being used to kind of, I would say, mellow the smoke out a bit. As you know, Burleys are pretty high in nicotine, and this Latakia definitely is. I can feel it already. It's not making my head spin. Not that kind of strong, but I can feel it. If you don't like higher nicotine tobaccos or you can't tolerate them, stay away from this. This is right up there with almost a rope or twist tobacco. I would put it as stronger than Peterson's Irish Flake. It'd be stronger than what's another? I'd put it up there with like Dark Bird's Eye, if you've ever tried that from Cornell and Deal. And as I mentioned before, I'm not knocking aromatic smokers by any means when I brought the whole Cavendish thing up. It's the cheap ones that just Cavendish just. At any rate, there's a small amount in here, and it's obviously not a primary ingredient. It's used to mellow the smoke out. It's spicy, very smoky. You know, Latakia lovers, if you like it or like Latakia, this is definitely for you. The tin aroma it's Latakia. I'd be shocked if this was less than 50% Latakia. You've heard the expression lat bomb, or this is pretty close to one. The flavor is definitely very smoky, slightly sweet, which is probably the Burley. It's cool burning. As I mentioned, this pipe can heat up pretty easily. It's not heating up. Gives a very decent amount of smoke out of this little pipe. I just exhaled some, or I don't inhale pipes. That's why another reason I probably like these stronger nicotine content tobaccos, because to get the nicotine strength level without inhaling, you need a stronger tobacco. This fits the bill. But as I was mentioning, when I exhale it through my nose, it burns a little bit. It's not comfortable. I won't be doing that again. But I like to do that sometimes because it gives me I guess a bigger perspective or picture of what the tobacco actually tastes like. The room note of this, I like it. My wife actually likes it. But it's probably not for everybody. It smells, if you don't smoke a lot of blends that have Latakia in it, it has almost a campfire smell, like there's a campfire going in my living room here. This little pipe, the only thing I don't like about it, it's very sensitive to tobaccos that aren't super dried out. It'll gurgle on you. This is starting to a tiny bit. Maybe I didn't let that dry out quite enough, but this pipe is a little susceptible to it. It's not bad, but it's a very cool smoking little pipe. This tobacco does very well in this. This in a large bowl, man, if you're not used to, if you don't smoke really powerful tobaccos, this will put you on your rear end in a large bowl. I've smoked it in a large bowl before, and I prefer it in this because it's just too much. It's not a harsh tobacco. It is if you ever blow it through your nose, retrohale, whatever the hell they call it. My palate isn't distinguished or sophisticated enough to pick out all these little nuances in coffee and cacao and all this stuff. It's smoky tasting. It's very smooth, very mellow. It's got it definitely has a little sweetness going on there. Not necessarily a topping. There might be some form of topping on this. If there is, it's very slight. But it's a good tobacco. It tastes good. To me, it smells good. It's very mellow in the smoke. But you definitely have to be a fan of Latakia to enjoy this one, or I definitely stay away from it if you're not. But give it a shot. If you do like blends with Latakia, this is something that you would like. But if you can't tolerate higher nicotines, again, stay away from this stuff, because it lets you know you've been smoking it. To me, it's in a good way. It's like I mentioned, I enjoy smoking it before bed. It relaxes me and puts me almost to sleep. I gotta watch I don't drop my pipe in my lap with my eyes shut. But anyway, give this stuff a try. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you the next time.